Hello and welcome back to the podcast. We're going to get into a little weekly recap of our own. I did some activities this past weekend. Brittany was chilling. Also get into what happened in pop culture and finish per usual with the Shady stories. But we do have some topics to kind of go off of from the Shady stories this week. So make sure you stick around for those. But to start off, this past week after St. Patrick's Day, we had discussed that I may have went a little too hard. And me and Evan were like, you know what? Let's get on our little health and wellness journey.
Love that.
We need to get back to it. We need to be working out again. And one of those points that we were like, let's go get a massage as part of this.
It's fun.
So spontaneously, I call on a Friday and I'm like, hey, do you guys have an opening for a couples massage tomorrow? And they were like, be for real.
Yeah.
No. So I'm like, okay, cool. I get that. So they called me back though, like 10 minutes later.
Perfect.
And I was like, sick, put us down. So we go the next day. And we have gotten a couple of massages before together, but it has been like 2 years. So I think Evan may have forgotten. We go in the room, they walk you to your room. They're like, oh, take your robes off, get on the table, and then we'll be back in a couple minutes.
Right.
So I go to take my thing off and like get in the bed. And Evan's like, what are you doing?
What do you mean?
Absolutely shocked that I didn't have a top on. I'm like, this is what you're supposed to do. He's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So already we're off to an interesting start. But then, we start getting the massages and I can hear his person having him do thins. So I'm like, what's going on over there? So the whole time I'm like not even paying attention to mine. I'm like listening to whatever his person's saying to him. Cause in the beginning, they'll like put the thing in front of you and be like, take a deep breath. It wasn't one of those. It was like when you go to the chiropractor and they're like, take a deep breath. And then they crack your shit.
Were they cracking his back?
No, I think they were just pushing really hard.
Okay.
So they were like, take a deep breath before they like got a knot out or something. I don't know, but I was like, I've never heard this before.
No.
And then at one point, I was
okay, I'm sorry. I have to stop you for a second, but like we frequently talk about how chill Evan is as a human. So what kind of knots were they getting out of his back?
I honestly don't know. So and then listen to this. So at one point, I'm like, I'm still listening. It's so funny because I was literally eavesdropping on their massage and like his massage the whole time.
Of course you were.
And so then I hear, relax your knee.
What?
And all I'm picturing in my head is like Evan's leg in the air, like relaxing his knee. So I'm like, what is going on for real? So honestly, I don't know.
His knee? I
asked. So we first of all, and then this happens. So we leave and we check out.
Yeah.
And my person leaves the front desk the card to give to me.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, oh, wait, so-and-so wants to give you her card. So I'm like, oh, cool. That's really nice. But they didn't give Evan the card. So I'm like, we get to the card. I'm like, did you overthink about that at all? And he's like, what? I'm like, your person didn't give the card to you?
Yeah.
And he's like, no. And I was like, I would have really felt bad. Like if you got a card and then like I didn't.
Right.
Like, was I a bad massager?
Well, yeah, he needed to relax his damn knees.
Well, he was giving him so many activities to do. So I guess that was that. But yeah, so we check out and I'm like, Evan, what was going on over there? Like, was he having you do stuff? And he's like, I don't know. Like, he was telling me to relax my knee, but I don't know why. And I was like, I don't know why. Yeah, he was like, I don't know how to relax my knee. So I was just like laying there.
No, I can't tell.
I agree.
I don't think I've ever relaxed my knees.
I don't think you can.
Like I'm trying to right now and I can't.
I have no idea. So that was how our health and wellness journey began. And then it quickly took an intermission because Sunday, believe it or not, on Sunday was Elena's bridal shower. So she actually did something really cool for her bridal shower. Instead of like a typical like lunch or brunch or whatever, we all went to Top Golf.
Ooh.
And That's just such a good idea.
That's a really good idea because bridal showers, love them, but sometimes they get a little boring.
Yeah, it's very much like the same thing every time. So it
Yeah.
was nice to switch it up. And like we still did some games and whatever, like collectively as a group, but then everybody got to play
Topgolf. Have a nice Sunday.
Yeah. And I got to take my first few swings of the year.
How did those go?
It was, you know how it goes. Like some were good, some weren't so good. But you know what's so crazy is I forget this every year. So we can't golf year round in Michigan, clearly.
Sadly.
So I forget when we start doing it again, how sore you get in the most weird places. My forearms are still so sore.
Did you do your stretches?
Oh no, my Evan led stretches.
Yes.
You guys, so when me and Brittany first decided we were going to try to
be golf girls,
Evan went with us to the range, and the first thing he starts doing is stretching. And like, I know you need to, it's a sport, but like, we couldn't believe it. Like we were like, we didn't know that you actually get joking. Sore. And so he starts doing some little fish hand stretching, some like over the head stretching. And we're thinking,
so embarrassed.
We're thinking like he's joking around. And then next day we were so sore. And we're like, crazy. We get why he was stretching now. But we're not pros like him.
No.
So yeah, so that was our weekend. Anything exciting?
No. Brian had surgery last week, so everyone's fine. Everything's fine. No one panic. So we just laid low. We actually saw Creed though. We made it to the movie theater. Creed 3 was very good. I had never seen any of the previous movies. I knew a little bit about the Rocky movies because I know they're intertwined. But I thought it was really good.
So I actually went and saw it. I saw it, but after we talked about that whole Michael B. Jordan run-in on the red carpet, I actually went and saw it too. And same thing for me. I didn't see the other Creeds. I watched some of the Rockies. I think I watched like 3 of the Rockies, but then I didn't see the Creeds. But you didn't really need to. So
no,
if you're interested in that kind of movie, you don't have to see the other ones to kind of know what's going on. But I really liked it. I thought it was good too. And then also this past week, actually, I think a couple days ago, was the iHeartRadio Music Awards. And we're actually going to do for the Patreon, the red carpet fashion review. We love to do those. And just talk a little bit about the awards. But just really quickly, for anybody who is interested, Taylor Swift won the Innovator Award.
As she should. A queen.
Pink won the Icon Award. Taylor Swift won Song of the Year for Anti-Hero. Artist of the Year, Harry Styles. Hip Hop Artist of the Year, Drake. R&B Artist of the Year, SZA. And obviously there was a few other awards, but those were the main ones that we saw. One. And honestly, the red carpet fashion, just based on what we saw a little bit of, was kind of very like a very wide spectrum. So I'm excited to review some of these looks because we had people from like kind of looking casual to like full dress to the nines. So
it gave me very like 2000 vibes from like those red carpets from like the Teen Choice Awards where it was people could be in a full blown gown or people could be in a skirt with jeans under it, like,
or with a t-shirt with a tank top over over top.
What a time.
Yeah, just going off the fashion thing really quickly, I just saw people are predicting that like 2010s fashion is going to come back now.
Stop.
Because we already kind of went through the Y2K.
Yeah.
So we're talking like those big belts.
Oh, I have seen that on TikTok.
And then like chokers again. Statement necklaces.
I can't do statement necklaces, nor can I do a choker. Chokers, I feel claustrophobic. I'm sorry.
I actually have a funny story about statement necklaces.
What?
So you know how in high school you win like the awards or whatever, and I think we joked about how like I won best dress.
You did, yes.
But I don't know if I ever said this. So I won best dress, but then you have to go and take your pictures on a separate day and a separate time for those awards, like with the other person who won. And so for whatever reason,
did you wear a staple?
I wore, yeah. So I didn't dress how I would dress for school at that time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't wear what I would wear every day. I thought I was supposed to dress like nicer than I would actually dress.
Yeah.
So I dressed terribly for my best dress award.
Did you dress like business casual? You know how
I
people
tried to
make
dress businessy. And so I wore this
Stop it.
very like professional looking top with like a statement necklace. I'm going to try to find the picture.
Oh, I have all the yearbooks. I will find the photo.
So yes, like instead of wearing what I would have worn, I wore like fancy, like I was trying to be professional for the photo.
That's so embarrassing.
So I dressed bad for best dress award.
That's really unfortunate.
I
I'm
know.
so sorry that happened to you.
It's okay. It happens to the best of
You
us.
know.
Also this past week, speaking of seeing things on TikTok, we had the TikTok Congress hearing where they were grilling the CEO of TikTok. And it was kind of interesting because the concerns that I kept seeing being brought up, like of like, you know, affecting mental health, not being good for people to be on this stuff all day, you know, just basic things of all social media were like the main concerns I kept seeing. And I'm like,
Yeah, where was the concern with Facebook, MySpace, Instagram, Twitter?
I don't know, man. So I don't know what's going on with all that, but it was interesting too because some of the Congress people, their concerns were like, well, when I go on TikTok, you know, I'm seeing kids doing inappropriate things. And then everybody went on TikTok and was like, sir, you know you're exposing yourself, right? Because your algorithm only gives what you watch.
Yeah, because let me tell you, I don't see kids dancing. I see Joe Burrow and the Hunger Games. So I don't know what side of TikTok they're on, but not the right one.
Right. And then so everyone was like, they need to get their PR people on this because the funny thing too is like a lot of these Congress people are a lot older. So they don't actually probably realize how TikTok works. So like they're confused.
You get what you watch, you know? That's all I got to say.
It's actually funny because the CEO of TikTok, you know, was the one getting grilled, but he also made a TikTok and it went from like 10,000 followers to now like so many followers after the Congress hearing, and people are like loving him.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
So this is really, it's not going in the way people anticipated.
I mean, yeah, I don't really know if it's going to mean anything to Congress. Like, I don't know what they're going to do about it. I have seen other Congress members talking about like, they agree that we have to be concerned, but like, again, it's a concern that should be across like all social media platforms, not just this specific one. So it'll be interesting. We kind of talked about, I feel like at the beginning of this podcast, like what was going to happen with TikTok.
Oh yeah. Was that in our 2023 predictions?
I think so. We were wondering if like TikTok was going to be
stick
banned.
around.
Yeah.
Well, I
We'll
hope
see.
it does not.
I guess we're going to be coming to a conclusion soon. So, but also all over TikTok was Gwyneth Paltrow being sued for a ski crash that happened in 2016.
That just seems astronomically like long ago to just now be having a court case on.
Yeah, the lawsuit was filed in 2019, originally for $3.1 million. Later, it was reduced to $300,000 over an incident which this guy, Terry Sanderson, claims that Gwyneth Paltrow skied out of control and crashed into him from behind, causing him permanent traumatic brain injury and 4 broken ribs, as well as emotional distress from the incident. And so actually they're doing a whole trial. It's not just like a civil suit. I actually don't know what it's considered, but they're not doing, you know, it wasn't concluded before it went to trial. It's on trial. And so she's having to testify. And TikTok is just eating up
they're
her
having
testimony.
a field day with it.
I think what everybody's kind of being like, this is so ridiculous, because both of these people are just like, they're both blaming each other for this situation. So he's saying she crashed into him, and yeah, he's saying he said what she said. basically they're both saying each other crashed into each other. And like, obviously only one side of the story is true.
And it happened in 2016. Like, where are the eyewitnesses here?
Well, supposedly there were a lot of eyewitnesses.
And where are they at the trial? I don't see any of them at the trial. All I see is their defense lawyer coming at Gwyneth, poor Gwyneth in the chair, being questioned on if she's friends with Taylor Swift or not.
That was really weird. I don't know why they brought that up. Oh, wait, I know why they brought that up.
Do you?
So,
I got it so out of context.
In return for this lawsuit, Gwyneth Paltrow is countersuing for $1. So, and I guess Taylor Swift did that before.
She did.
So that's why they asked her if she was friends with Taylor Swift. Like, where did you get that idea to sue for $1? Like, I feel like that's gotta be.
Yeah, but like, why does it matter if they're friends? I don't know. It's so, the court system is crazy.
Very, very weird situation. And it's just, I think it was bad timing because everybody was already not loving Gwyneth Paltrow because she just did that interview where she was talking about how basically she just has like bone broth and vegetables for her food. And then she like also was getting an IV of like nutrients. Yeah. And people were just feeling like she was not that relatable.
I can see why they would think that. That feels spot on.
So this is kind of continuing that narrative of her not being that relatable because I guess also this place that both of them were skiing at.
Not a relatable place.
Very like prestigious place to be able to ski at.
And they're out there running into each other.
This is why
just
we
like
just
any
don't
old ski place. Yeah.
This is why we just don't ski. You won't catch us on the slopes. So yeah, that's going on. And then supposedly too, there's still Selena Gomez continues to be
she be in headlines lately.
Yeah, very much so. So supposedly now it went from somehow her dating allegedly the Chainsmokers Drew Taggart to
I was kind of behind that.
I feel like we weren't behind it when we talked about it.
I was half and half.
Oh, okay. So I don't know how I felt about that one. I was like, I don't know. But now supposedly she's dating Zayn from previously from One Direction before they split up. And I guess this one, two people makes more sense because while they were both kind of growing up in the spotlight, I guess they had done multiple separate interviews talking about like having crushes on each other and when they were younger. And so now
Justin Bieber accused her in an Instagram comment back in the day saying that Selena cheated on Justin with Zayn.
I think I did see that.
Yes.
So they had like a public feud. Oh yeah, it was so Justin Bieber way back in the day posted when he was dating Sophia Richie, Selena Gomez commented something under that post and then he came back saying, well, you cheated with Zayn. So there's been an ongoing speculation that Zayn and Selena have like had a thing for each other over the years, but it seems like now it is supposedly getting solidified because people claim to have seen them together making out and holding hands on a date at a restaurant in New York. So not sure if that's true, but it'll be interesting because Gigi and Zayn have a daughter together.
Right.
And Gigi is in the same circle of friends as Selena, like with Taylor Swift and like that whole little group. So they are, I think, considered friends. And I read today in an article that supposedly at one point Selena called Gigi a best friend.
Oh.
So it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out or if it's even true, because I know like after the Chainsmokers thing happened, Selena went on TikTok mouthing off like a sound saying that she doesn't have a crush on anyone and basically that she's single.
Right.
So I guess we'll see again if she kind of plays this one the same way. Also, though, this past week, we haven't really been following all the little updates in the Selena Hailey thing, but a big breakthrough happened because supposedly Selena and Hailey talked privately and made up, followed each other both on Instagram, and Selena posted on her story basically telling people, stop bullying.
Women supporting women. I mean, what more can you say? You could say a lot of things. The internet has a lot to say.
No one's content regardless of what happens, but yeah.
I think it proves that truly no one will ever be happy with this situation, and the internet is going to continue to pit them against each other even if they make statements themselves, because Selena now has spoke out about it and it's never enough.
Yeah, that's kind of the consensus I think that we were kind of saying last time, is like, we're just adding to it, like the public, we're just giving this our own thing. It's not even for them at this point because they've clearly said what they would like to happen. Nobody cares.
But I would love to have seen what that conversation was like. Like, hey, how did that like come to the agreement? Like, we're both gonna post statements on our Instagram stories.
I cannot imagine.
Like, what a conversation.
It was PR. Like, it had to be. Like, I don't think it was direct. There's no way. How awkward.
I don't know.
How awkward.
Very awkward. Very.
And do you think it was like texting or on the phone?
I don't know. I feel like, you know what? I think it was a combo of both. I think it was voice messages back and forth.
Oh my God. I would save them forever.
I feel like it's got to be.
That'd be crazy. And then like too, I wonder in that situation, which this is us doing exactly what we said they don't want us to do.
Feeding right into it.
It's fine. We're allowed to. But like, what was Justin saying? Like, was he aware that they were contacting each other? Like, was he aware that Haley was going to go try to get a hold of her? Had to be.
Yeah, there's no way he didn't know.
Like, what did he say?
I don't know. He probably feels uncomfortable too. Clearly he stays out of it and doesn't say anything.
Interesting time to be silent. I just would have loved like a third story. Like, yeah, my girls talked. My girls are cool.
One more. Oh my gosh, that would have been something
groundbreaking. Also, Love is Blind season 4 came out, and I feel like every time a season comes out, I talk about it on here because there's always drama, and I'm like the first to watch it. But it's so funny because there's a formula that is the same for every single season of the show, and it is literally someone regrets who they chose because they are more physically attracted to somebody else once they see everybody. There's a fight about living together. Somebody's like dirty or like something happens with that. And then there's always a fight with a family that doesn't want to be supportive of this experiment. It's like the same every single, and there's always like the same character, just a different person. Yeah, like the same role on the show, just a different villain or a different person.
Yeah.
So interesting. But apparently we've been told that there's a character, Micah, who looks like Brittany. Confirm or deny?
Yeah. We vote in the comments.
Does she look like Brittany?
If I squint my eyes, I can see it.
Really? I think it's just the hair.
I feel like I can see it in her face.
Really?
I don't know what it is, but I've seen like 2 like screenshots of photos of people. Yes. And they're like, this looks like you. And I was like, you know what? I feel like sometimes people will be like, oh, you look like this person, you look like that person.
Dude, sometimes it's not a compliment.
Yeah, and I don't see it. This time I actually kind of see it a little bit.
Really?
Like lightly.
I'll have to look again. I don't know though. Maybe I just see you too much. So
yeah, and that happens.
I just don't know how I feel. But I'll be watching it. So if anything good happens, I've already seen a bunch of spoilers all over TikTok, but I keep just like scrolling past because I want to watch it.
That's the hard part with
anything now. But supposedly there already is a lot of good drama going on. So I'll have to come back with the tea once I get it.
Maybe I will too.
Highly doubt. We know you. But speaking of the tea, let's get into the shady stories for this week. Shady story number 1. I have never really gotten along with, nor have I really cared for my brother's fiance. I'm always nice to her, but we don't have a bond like I do with my other sister-in-law, but I am always nice. It all started when my husband and I got married 6 years ago. It was outdoors and just small family affair, nothing fancy. But my brother showed up wearing ragged jeans and a t-shirt, and his fiance showed up in a super tight, low cut, and very short pleather dress along with very tall and outrageous heels. I didn't say anything and let it go. Fast forward a year later, and our little brother gets married, and they showed up dressed to the nines. They had the same type of wedding, outdoors, small with mostly family, and again, I let it go. Now fast forward to last year where shit really went down. My brother posted about needing addresses for wedding invites, so in our group message with myself, him, little brother, and mother, I sent it and asked what date it was going to be on. He messaged the date, which happens to be my husband's birthday. So I replied, hey, that's Jay, my husband's birthday. Like, ha ha ha, what a coincidence. Wrong. He went off on me and called me every name in the book. Told me I was the worst person, I'm selfish, I'm not a good aunt, his kids don't even know me. I'm just the worst person. Mind you, I didn't imply at all that we wouldn't be attending, and I'm the one who takes care of their kids whenever they don't want to be at family events. And our parents bring the kids so they don't get left out. I tried to just let it go until he said that I would never know what it's like to be a mom because my husband and I had just started trying to conceive and it was a struggle. So I decided I was done playing nice and I told his future wife's secret that she not only had sex with our brother, but cousin and our older brother too. But right before they conceived their son, my nephew, she had sex with our cousin. Who knows who the father really is? So I was told we're not invited to their wedding. Well, little do they know, I'm searching stores for the most inappropriate outfit I can to crash their wedding.
This is
juicy.
It's a very juicy.
Well,
awful.
I feel like so many horror stories come from in-laws.
It does. There are a lot of stories out there like that. And
I mean, that's a terrible way to like start a relationship with a family if you're getting married into it.
Yeah, definitely started off on the wrong foot. But I feel like my biggest issue with this story, well, two big issues, but one that I take personally.
Is this about to be the close to the wedding?
Yes.
You get very offended and passionate about people's attire to weddings. So I actually wanted to make this a little topic, a little subtopic of this, because we did talk a little bit in the Patreon about what we like want guests to wear to weddings kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Wedding etiquette, if you will. So how badly did this bother you?
This irks me to my core because nothing to me says rude, says disrespect than not giving a shit when you're getting ready to attend somebody's wedding. You should be respectful. You should dress nice, put some effort in, and to ripped jeans, really? And a t-shirt?
What's crazy is like there have been instances where I will be like, oh, you know what? Like I kind of get it if everyone was on the same page or like that's just kind of that person, that's how that person is regardless. Like they never have worn something different. But in this situation, it's funny because it's exactly what you kind of think it implies. That's what they were exactly trying to imply. Like they wanted to dress badly
on
to
purpose.
Be rude on purpose, to be like, we don't care about this.
Right.
And so, and then also like she said, the other wedding was the exact same kind of vibe and they dressed very, very nice for it. So it was literally like
they did
how
it
you
like,
interpret it is what they meant it.
100%. Like, oh, they're going to dress nice for one, but for the other one, literally show up with the kind of disrespect. It's just, I don't know. It irritates me.
And clearly there's like an underlying beef that the girl coming into the family feels about this girl, because for him to take it 0 to 100 of being like, oh, you're a terrible person because our wedding's on the same day as your husband and you mentioned it.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was like he was waiting for his moment to like cut her off.
Oh, yeah.
And it mostly probably has something to do with the girl he's marrying. Mm-hmm. Seems like anyways.
Seems like a correlating factor.
You definitely don't need to go in to a marriage. I mean, unless you're intending on it not lasting very long, having beef with in-laws.
No.
Sister-in-laws, mother-in-laws, anybody.
No, there's
Not a
no
good-
need. No need for that. It's not cute. It's not fun.
I kind of like this person's plan to show up to their wedding in an inappropriate outfit.
I mean, yeah, I support them, even though that's something that I inherently hate.
But it's to get back.
Yes, that I will allow. So I will give it an 8.
I give this an 8 out of 10 as well.
Beautiful. All right, shady story number 2. My friend Allie threw a house party with beer pong and all the horns and whistles. Well, we ran out of beer, and being the lush that I was, I turned into a beer dumpster. Yes, this is gross, but I began drinking everyone's leftover beer. In all fairness, I was blacked out, and this is the accounts of everyone else. Since I was so drunk, I ended up passing out on a leather couch with my best friend. When we woke, I felt sweaty, but only around my lower region. I realized it wasn't sweat, it was in fact pee, and I had to ride with my best friend home. When we got in the car, I said, "Man, that couch sure made me sweat." And she said, "Me too, I'm soaked." I didn't have the heart to tell her until a few years later, and she confessed that she had known the entire time. Now, 12 years later, I never lived this party down, and she even gets me a birthday card about golden showers. And I'll forever be known as the beer dumpster. That's so tough.
But also, what a good friend to just pretend they didn't know.
Oh yeah, it was. We all sweat. It was oh my gosh, that's so bad. I would be pissed. I'm sorry. I wouldn't let that go nor pretend. If that was you.
I go, she's such a good friend for not wanting to embarrass her. You're like, fuck that.
I mean, I wouldn't do it in front of people, but in the privacy of driving home, I'd say, "Ma'am, we need to get some newspaper on the seat."
Newspaper?
I don't know,
Is it a
something.
dog?
I don't know, but
Oh
my
gosh.
I mean,
I really like this story. And I also, do you just notice that I give you all the like
you give me all
bodily
the
functions?
Yes, just because you want me to talk about them.
Because I just want it to be clipped of like you saying it. Because I feel like in our last clips, like some of the shady stories, when I read one, people thought that it was my story.
Yeah, I honestly was kind of thinking about that while I was reading
like,
this.
What if people think this is your story?
They could. This is not mine. I have done my fair share of embarrassing things while drinking, but this is not one of them.
I feel like our best embarrassing drinking story together was the McDonald's gate at Lollapalooza. So
we love McDonald's.
So typically after a day or night of drinking, Brittany and I will rally for the group to get McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
So after Lollapalooza a few years back, we got McDonald's. But, you know, the girls and the guys weren't totally getting along. It was a very ridiculous fight looking back.
The couples were fighting.
But
I
to
should
be
have
honest,
minded my business.
Brittany inserted herself in the couples fights, but the guys wanted to stay out. The girls wanted to go back. And so we basically dragged the guys out of the bar and we're like, no, we're leaving and getting McDonald's. So anyways, so the guys were not appreciative of the fact that we got the McDonald's anyways, if we're being honest. Not me rehashing it right now.
Yeah.
Anyways, so it was to the point though, you guys, that in the car when we were arguing about leaving, the Uber driver just starts blasting Adele because he wants us to stop fighting.
He did. We were like all throwing some like low blows at each other.
Oh my God. That had nothing to do with what we were like fighting about.
I don't even know. And then all of a sudden, I forget what happened. Then the driver
Adele.
just turned on Adele, and we all zoned out and stared out the window.
It was literally like a
movie.
music video for Adele. Like we were just staring out the windows, like acting all depressed.
He had like an Adele playlist too, because it was not just one song, but
it was until we got back.
Yes.
And then so anyways, we get back and you know, the girls are like, let's go in one room and like put the guys in one room. So we go to our room, they go to theirs, but we had all the food. So we were like, all right, let's go put their food outside their door. But like, we're not going to tell them. We're just going to put it there. So we put the food outside the door, and this is where the McDonald's gate part comes in. So supposedly one of the sandwiches rolled out of the wrapper. And so the guys got even more pissed at us because they thought we intentionally put their food on the ground. So this lasted us probably until like end of day next day, this argument about this McDonald's.
And I got blames for it.
Because the guys were like, who put the McDonald's on the floor? And like, we were just like, nobody. And then like, it was just very stupid fight. But when you're drunk, those things,
they literally looked at you and our other friend that we were through like, well, we know that you two wouldn't do it. That. And I'm like, oh, what?
You'd be my first suspect.
It's fine.
But yeah, so that was pretty embarrassing, but also it's just really funny. That was our drunk embarrassing story. But ours was like a 6 out of 10. This, couch.
This is tough. This is embarrassing.
It's you know what? It happens.
It's a 9.
It's a 9?
It's a 9. It's kind of funny.
Okay. All right. Shady story number 3. About 15 years ago, I invited some girls to a party I was having. These girls brought a friend. We'll call her Miley. Miley was cute, and both me and my 2 cousins were all trying to get at her. Well, one of my cousins ended up getting with her, but over the years, she told me that she thought that she would end up with me. Well, fast forward a year or 2, they broke up, and for about 3 months, me and Miley had a sexual relationship unprotected. Eventually, her and my cousin got back together. We've never told him about our relationship, and eventually they had a kid. Everyone thinks her kid is mine, but to be honest, the timing doesn't work. My cousin had kids before her, but his baby mama wasn't in the picture. Miley became a wicked stepmom and was verbally abusive to the kids from the prior relationship. Eventually, my cousin kicked out his underage daughter to appease the abusive Miley, even after she cheated on him and got caught. About a month ago, they asked me to be the best man at their wedding, right? Well, the job of the best man is to test the groom and see if he really wants to be married. I know his girl will have sex with me again. Every time we get drunk and he falls asleep, she tries. My plan is to get revenge for my little cousin that got kicked out, have sex with her, record it, and show him.
So, one, this Miley's...
I think that's illegal.
That is, one, illegal. Don't tell us about your crimes, people, please. Miley seems like a menace. She's causing trouble. She's with one guy and then telling the other one that, she thought it'd be him and then hooking up. Just a mess. But
yeah.
Then is it really the best man's job to test the groom like that? That just seems out of pocket.
So that's what I kind of wanted, the topic that I wanted to go off on this one, because it's definitely always kind of a thing in the back of everyone's mind when they're getting married, of like bachelor parties and like known to kind of be wild. And yeah, there's just a stigma around bachelor parties and bachelors. And what are your thoughts? Like, I don't know. Like, when I hear stuff like this, like, it's the best man's job to test the groom.
Yeah,
like,
that just
is
seems
that what
like
guys
aggressive.
think?
I hope not.
Guys think? Because, like, absolutely not.
Is that why they get into so much trouble on bachelor parties? Because
they're like, let's put him to all the tests. Like, sir,
no, just be happy. Like, have a beer or 2, swing some golf clubs, and call it a day. We don't need to be putting our men through rigorous tests.
Right. This isn't like,
to test their loyalty. Like, no.
That is for him to that is for him to go through on his own. You don't need to do it for him. Like, wild. I just want to know, like, do guys really think that way?
They must, because I don't know. I feel like I've seen some
all
things.
This what happens in Vegas? Like, absolutely not.
I've never been to Vegas, so I wouldn't know.
Been to Vegas,
so I don't know.
So I went once, but it was just a layover, so we were only there for like the night.
Did you see anything crazy?
No, but I just felt like immediately no.
Immediately no, not the vibe.
It was a little, it was overstimulating.
Vegas seems aggressive to me. Seems like a
It's
lot.
loud. It's flashy lights.
I don't think I'd fit in.
It's just a lot going on all at the same time. And it just wasn't my thing. I don't like gambling though, but like Evan was loving it.
Was he?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Loves blackjack. So he definitely was like trying to stay at the table. And then also, so I have like, obviously I've gambled before. And so every time that I've tried to play blackjack with him, he'll like teach me for a couple minutes and then we'll play. And I always win.
Oh, good.
And so he gets so pissed because like we'll sit there for like an hour and I'll come away with like a bunch of money. And he's like, what the hell? Like you didn't even know how to play when you sat down and now you're winning.
Beginner's luck, man.
I know. But it's like a beginner every time because I don't remember how to play. And I'm like, wait, what were you supposed to do again? But yeah, it just wasn't really my thing. Like, see, I can do that like every, I don't know, once a year. But like to go for like a weekend and play all day, every day like people do, not for me. I'd be too stressed out.
Me too.
It's too much going on. And like there's no beaches or anything. So it's like, I'd rather go somewhere else. But I know a lot of people, if you like gambling, I mean, yeah, it's
perfect for that.
That's your place. But, you know, but what happens in Vegas thing, that always bothers me.
Like, I don't like that. Secrets are, why?
Good luck. It's 2023. There's social media everywhere.
Yeah, honestly, I think TikTok's favorite thing to do is, did you see this man? If your man was in a black coat with this hat on in this location at this time, they're cheating on you. And like
always
they like walked past the girl. It's like, okay, it's gotten a little extreme.
Okay, but I was gonna say I've actually seen instances like there was one that was in Nashville and they took a video of this guy. He was on his bachelor party and he was like trying to get with this girl.
Disgusting.
And so the girl made a video being like, hey, this just happened. Like, if this is your guy, like he was trying to get with me, whatever. And then people were very mixed on like, was that the right thing of her to do? Or like, should she have tried to find the girl and
like privately
told her privately? But yeah, if you're out there, also, you know what they have now?
What?
Which this was obviously like we weren't single when this was going on, but I wonder
the Facebook pages.
I wonder if we would have taken a part of this because
I would have.
There's Facebook pages.
Are we
now
dating the same man?
That's like, are we dating the same person? And you know, you go in there and you just like describe the person you're dating or like what area, and then people will like chime in and be like, oh yeah, we just hooked up, or like exposing the people. So I've seen those come up now too on Facebook. So it's definitely not as easy to go away with stuff in this day and age, and you shouldn't want to.
You know, I could see that Facebook group getting out of hand though. Like, okay, so I don't know why I just thought of this, but like, imagine if you were like so pissed at a girl and you knew she had a boyfriend and like went on the site and just started describing that person and then they saw it.
Or if it was like their ex, like trying to just cause problems for whoever they get with next.
Exactly. Yeah. Like maybe I'm happy we didn't have to deal with, because, you know, I feel like there's a lot of positives to that, you know, finding the playas, but negatives as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. That Facebook page is a 10 out of 10 of shadiness.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
That was clever though. Whoever came up with that.
It was.
But okay, so the story, I would say 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10?
Absolutely. If he follows through with this plan,
we want to know what happens as the outcome. Unless it's illegal, we don't want to know. But
and do not, you know, like we give the space for the receipts.
We don't want them.
Put the receipts.
We don't want the receipts for that one. Thanks in advance.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And on that note, please keep submitting your shady stories and we will
love to hear them.
No, but seriously, we will see you guys in the next one. Keep submitting your shady stories and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.